Hey guys, it's me, Shannon. I am your current Mrs. Fargo International, and my pageant platform, you may or may not know, is Smash the Stigma. Let's talk about mental health. So for part of that, I am sharing my own struggles with mental illness and also encouraging you to share your own. So I had a bit of a backslide the past couple of days. And I personally, my mental illnesses that I deal with, that I've been diagnosed with, are depression, anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder, and panic disorder. So for the most part, I do pretty good at managing them through therapy and through medication. But these past few weeks, I've been dealing with a lot of stress, and I had a few days where I did just backslide, and yesterday I ended up having to go home from work because of panic attacks, and it was really frustrating. Really, it was one panic attack, I guess, that I went home from work for, and then my general anxiety disorder was getting to me. And if you see me look, I'm cheating. I have notes with me so I don't forget anything that I want to say. It's been a while since I've done a YouTube video, so I digress. So anyway, I ended up having, all day yesterday, I was having what I would call rolling panic attacks. It's not like a official clinical term or anything. It is just something I experience where I have a panic attack, and then it gets better, it dies down. I'm still anxious, can't focus on anything, can't fall asleep, can't think straight. It's like I'm just in this anxiety loop. And so that's what was happening to me yesterday. I was just having rolling anxiety attacks where I was having a panic attack, calm me down a little bit, enough to sort of think a little bit more straight, but still really anxious. And then I would get another panic attack, and you know, every couple hours, every hour to 2 hours, I was having a panic attack yesterday. Those days are really hard. They don't have to happen to me often right now because my anxiety disorders are managed quite well, but when it does happen, it's usually because I haven't been going to therapy as often as I should. And that happened over the past 3 weeks. I missed one therapy appointment because I had this terrible cold, and then I had a planned trip to go visit my family on the other side of the state, which was so much fun. But I missed a therapy, or I missed what, you know, I would have had a therapy appointment scheduled usually that week, and then the following week I had to catch up at work, so I couldn't get in for therapy that week either. So that was 3 missed sessions, and it was so frustrating because it felt like it wasn't preventable, you know what I mean? And it made me feel kind of out of control. But today I should have, or no, yesterday I called my therapist, scheduled an appointment for next week. I don't have an appointment scheduled for this week still, but I am going to my acting class, and I feel like just having that thing to look forward to helps a lot. And then, oh, another reason I was experiencing my issues with my anxiety disorders yesterday is because of insomnia. A lot of people who have generalized anxiety disorder struggle with insomnia, and that's because your brain gets stuck in this, what I like to call just like a panic loop. It just your mind can't escape from it. You have all these things that you're worrying about and worrying about and worrying about, and your brain just won't turn off. It won't stop. And that was what happened to me Sunday night. I was thinking about work and thinking about all the things I needed to do, and I needed to do this week and this week and this week, and then it goes and goes and goes. And then when you are dealing with sleep deprivation, it exacerbates any other mental illness that you have. So it magnifies those negative thoughts that I have because of my depression. It magnifies my anxiety, obviously, to the extreme sometimes, and it's so frustrating. And I don't know, I just, I don't know, 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 I But the reason I'm sharing this story isn't just to get sympathy from people or something like that. I know that's just a common misconception, that people who talk about their mental illnesses are looking for sympathy from people and we want you to feel bad for us, but it's not true at all. The reason I personally chose my platform and why I choose to share my struggles is because when I am at my worst and dealing with situations like I was yesterday, one thing that helps me a lot is watching videos or reading blogs from other people who are dealing with mental illnesses and talking about their struggles. And especially if it's someone who's dealing with the same mental illnesses that I have, it makes me feel a lot less alone. And there's nobody better to give you advice on how to handle your mental illness. There's nobody who's going to understand more than someone else who's dealing with the same issues. That's just the reality of it. And then, so that's, part of why that's my, my platform. Oh, and then I also want to encourage other people to start sharing their stories about their struggles with mental illness, whether it's you yourself dealing with a mental illness or whether you are someone who has a friend or family member who deals or has dealt with mental illness. If you're someone who has gone through the horrible tragedy of losing a loved one to suicide, I want to hear from you. And when we share these stories, it empowers others to share their stories, and we can start a chain reaction to hashtag smash the stigma, hashtag stigma smashers. We can start a chain reaction to really start to chip away at the stigma, because as many professionals and smart people, as many people like you and I who are maybe already sharing our stories that are out there, there's still this stigma with any kind of mental illness. Even just, one episode of depression or one panic attack, people look at you differently if you tell them about them. And it's so silly because, some of these mental illnesses, like one episode of depression or one panic attack, it's the equivalent of getting a head cold. It really is. It's your brain gets sick and you might have to take medicine or go to therapy to get better, and that's okay, and it should be okay, and we shouldn't be judged for it. But I really think that we need to start having more people who are experiencing mental illness or the loved ones of people who have mental illness. We need them to share their stories. A lot of what we hear in the media is really dominated by specialists, by advocates, and that's such important work. But it's not doing enough. It's not going far enough. And if it was, we would already have the funding we need from government organizations and from the nonprofit sector to have the resources available to those of us who are dealing with mental illness, because I will tell you, there are not enough resources out there in my state. I know there's not enough resources out there in most states in the Midwest. I don't know about the coast because I don't know a lot of people from the East or West Coast, but I know within the Midwest there is a huge lack of funding for the resources that we need to get better and be functional adults in society. And I'm lucky enough that I have good health insurance and I have a family support network and a friend support network that I'm able to effectively cope with my mental illnesses. But if I didn't have that, if I wasn't blessed with that, I wouldn't be functioning. There's a good chance I would be homeless or just not doing very well at all. And I tend to giggle a lot when I talk about these things, and I hope you don't misread that as me not taking it seriously. I am just someone who deals with struggle and with anger by laughing for some reason. I guess humor can be the best way to cope at times, even when you're dealing with something really serious. You have to laugh about it so you don't go crazy. But Anyway, so I believe that to smash the stigma, we need to hear from people who have dealt with mental illness. We need you to share your story. The specialists, the advocates, they're not getting through all the way to the politicians that can send funding towards government towards government funded organizations that can help with mental health, and they're not getting through all the way to the nonprofit sector. They're not getting through to people. Well, it's not that they're not getting through to the nonprofit sector. They're not getting through to people who would be donating more money to the nonprofits that desperately need funding just to continue functioning and to give us the services that we need and we all deserve. Mental health care is part of health care, and I do believe we have a fundamental right to have access to mental health care and all health care. We just do. We've got to do something, and this is what I believe I can do to smash the stigma around mental illness. I hope you will consider sharing any experience that you have, whether it's just like a one-time story like I shared today about, you know, my struggle yesterday, or if, you know, you want to tell your whole story about your whole life. I hope that you will do that and just share it using the hashtag stigma smashers. So just hashtag, is that a wasp? Oh gosh. Go away please. Oh my gosh, I think that one's just a fly. Okay, we're okay. We're okay, but it's just hashtag stigma, STIGMA, smashers, SMASHERS, hashtag stigma smashers, just to take part in the chain reaction and the media blizzstorm that I'm trying to start to get the attention of politicians and the people who have the money, the corporations that could donate money to the nonprofits that are already trying to help us, or would-be nonprofits that would be helping us that can't get funding. So I guess that's off. I'm off my soapbox for now, but I just wanted to share my story with you. I'm planning to do this more. I've been meaning to do it more. I find YouTube's an easier outlet for me than Facebook Live, so I'm probably going to mostly be sticking with YouTube videos for this type of thing. Maybe I might do some short Facebook Live posts. I will put all my socials down below, and then if you do decide to make a video or a blog post or a Twitter, you know, a tweet, or an Instagram post or a Tumblr post with something having to do with your own struggle with mental health, however you want to express yourself, I hope that you will do that and use the hashtag stigma smashers. And if you do that and you comment below on this video, or direct message me either on Facebook or on one of my social medias, I will make sure to share that post or that video and try to get that out there too, because it's going to take a team of us deciding that we're sick of it and we're going to talk about it, whether other people want to hear it or not. We don't care, you know, we can't care if it makes other people uncomfortable. We have to stop caring. I mean, 60 years ago, people didn't talk about cancer. It was considered shameful to talk about cancer. So people had to live with not only going through this debilitating illness, and their families had to go through that, but they didn't have community support. They didn't have anyone to lean on because there was that stigma associated with cancer. And just like those hardworking people and advocates and you know, cancer survivors, the families of cancer survivors and people who passed from cancer, who, you know, cancer fighters, just like they had to come out of the closet and share their stories to get the attention and the funding and everything, to get access to the care that they deserve for everybody. Just like they had to do that, now it's our turn. We have to do that for ourselves, for our loved ones, and for society as a whole. So I'm sorry if this got rambly. It's something I'm very passionate about. I tried to stay on topic. I'm not always good at that. If you know me, you know. I do also have ADHD, which is not a mental illness, it's just a learning disability, but it does sometimes, you know, come and affect me when I'm trying to talk about something succinctly, and it doesn't work out. But thank you so much for watching if you have gotten this far. Again, make sure you message me below or contact me on one of my social medias that I'll post below to let me know if you decide to share your story, and I will make sure to share it as much as I can. Just make sure you use that hashtag Stigma Smashers to join this Stigma Smasher movement, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!